Now, on to our next finalists. Please welcome Caroline England from Featherbed Tales.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and it's a real delight to be here and to share some of our joy about Featherbed Tales. It's a really great opportunity, so thank you very much. In the UK, around 50% of children don't like reading, and that's a massive problem because reading ability is probably the strongest driver of pretty much everything in our life, from academic attainment, life chances and success, irrespective of how we measure success. If we look at adults with very poor literacy, they lose £6 billion per year in lost wages, and that's directly attributable to their low literacy levels. What we've learned in our journey is that nursery rhymes and engaging with books is a very strong driver of speech and language development as well as reading. We also know, I was quite astonished by this fact, that children who don't know 8 nursery rhymes off by heart when they go to primary school fall behind in reading throughout primary school. Also know that children prefer to read books in a digital format, and when they've done that, they are much more likely to move on to try books in another format, for example, printed books. So we have developed a beautifully illustrated digital platform where you can create a personalized narration of a digital storybook, and we automatically overlay that over the top of those digital books. It's really engaging, and it's a beautiful way for a child to engage with reading, particularly those who don't like to read. So if I give you the example of little Noah. Noah is 2, or he was 2. He doesn't like books, and his mother says that he has to work really hard to get him to sit down and read a storybook. So Auntie Bev recorded one of our Featherbed Tales, and she did it perfectly, exactly as we want to see people using it. She added his name. She made it really personal, and she would say, "Noah, the crocodile's coming. Are you ready with your snapping arms?" You know, so Noah's there with his arms all ready. So from a little boy who didn't want to sit down and read a storybook, suddenly he's asking for a storybook every night. You know, so that's a major thing for a child. So can I move on to my laptop now? Okay, we've got that, which for some reason doesn't seem to be looking like I expected it to. Anyway, so this is an example of one of our recorded stories. This was recorded by a little girl called Emily, and I'm not going to play the whole storybook, but I think it just gives you an idea of what the product looks like and how it works together.
Jump, jabbo, jump. Jump, jabbo. Jump is wet. Weed.
Red, you're right.
Red for Nan and Grandad and Liz by Emily.
So I think you get the feeling that, you know, it's a really charming way.
Jabbo likes to hop and jump. He lands with just the teeniest thump. He looks for something for his tea, something tasty. Beetles, crunchy.
So I will just play you one more page.
Jabbo hops along a log, but who's that hiding in the fog? Jabbo, jump, Jabbo, jump, Jabbo. Jabbo, stay safe and free. Don't end up as somebody's tea.
So can we go back to the presentation now, please? Thank you. So I think that gives you a feel for how the books work. I think you can also see that in terms of that child's development of language, you know, she's already starting to use some of those words and pronounce them in a different way. So around those fluency, oracy, expression, all of those verbal communication skills, it can be very powerful. So our product is a series of bright and very fun digital storybooks and nursery rhymes, and also greetings cards. They're all quick and easy to record. We have a process that is guided through with some of our little characters to make that a little bit more interactive and fun. And once it's recorded, it can be shared with anyone, anywhere in the world. So if we could go back to my laptop, please. Okay, so this just gives you an idea of some of our storybooks, so you can see the different categories that we've got. If I click into any of these, it gives you a little bit more information about that. So you see some of the sample pages. On this one, I already own this one, so there's no price for me to buy that. But that just gives you an idea of the sort of information. And also, it also tells you the number of words and the number of pages, so you can pick a shorter book. So just a quick flick down these. Most of the content is our own content. We have now developed a model so that we can incorporate revenue share with other authors, and we will be looking to do that as we move forward. Lots of nursery rhymes that we have developed following our conversations with the National Literacy Trust, and a range of other content, which I'll come to later, which is for older readers. Can we go back to the screen, please? So children love to hear their voices. They also love intuitive tech and playing with things. And I have already commented that the storybooks are predominantly our own content at the moment. So I just want to reassure you that people like the National Literacy Trust have said that the books are enchanting and they're really high quality. So if I can go back to my laptop for the last time, please. So this is my personal library, as if I'm a customer of Featherbed Tales. And you can see in here that I have each of the books that I own. I can record a version, or I can read a story with original audio, which is voiced by an actor. So I'm going to go down to this one here, and I'm just going to give you a very quick demo, she said, looking at the time. So we have an instruction page, a little video that you can watch if that is what you would like, but it's quite a simple process. So you put in the name, who it's for, you need to allow the microphone, and then let's go. So then this is the format pretty much for everything that we have. You see the image on the left-hand side of what you're recording for, and then on the right-hand side, what we suggest that you say. But it is really important that this is about what makes it personal. It's that human interaction. It's, you know, it's something that AI, certainly at the moment, can't generate, and it's that we're looking at. We will want to incorporate that with AI, but it's that at the moment that is the absolute core of what we're doing. So once you have recorded, you then upload your story, you can re-record, you can play and listen to it, and you can move on. So I'm just going to slip quickly through this one, but hopefully you get a feel for our illustrations. We have the most amazing illustrator based in the Eastern Cape in South Africa, and she brings a real sense of fun to our storybooks. So when we get to the end, you can preview your book. And as you can see, you can change any pages in terms of that recording. And once you've done that, you can complete your book. That takes you straight to a share page, so you can share that instantly with anyone, anywhere in the world. Back to the presentation, please. So why did I set Featherbed Tales up? About 6 or 7 years ago, a good friend of mine died from a brain tumour, and she left behind a young son who was about 4. And I realised that he wouldn't really necessarily remember his mother very well. But one day when I was tidying his bedroom, I came across a photo album. I opened the photo album, there was a big clunky button, which I pressed alongside a photograph of my friend. And her voice came out saying, "Hello, I'm your new mummy." And it was the book that they had made for him when they adopted him. And that instant, the hairs on the back of my neck stood up, and it made me realise how powerful our voices are and how they can connect us with people who may not be there, but also in terms of that building building a bond and fostering that connection with someone. Around the same time, I was standing in Lake Coniston about to do a lake swim, woman standing next to me, wetsuit hat, no idea who she was. instantly when she spoke, I knew that we had been friends as teenagers. And my memories had been locked in my brain for decades, but I remembered suddenly all of the mad outdoor things that we used to do when we were teenagers. And it was those two things that sort of really were the catapult for me to set up Featherbed Tales, although clearly it was slightly more complicated than that. So in terms of our tech, I seem to recall there's not so many tech people in the room as non-tech people, so I shall use this time very briefly. But we have an integrated recording tool with in-browser audio player, which means that there's seamless recording and listening across any browser-enabled device. We combine a front end in JavaScript with the back end and with cloud storage, which enables a user interface, which enables a seamless transition between devices and enables you to pick up where you left off without having to save anything along the way. The user journey is really important for us, so we have incorporated a lot of playful visuals. Hopefully you've seen some of those illustrations from our storybooks as we've been going through. So in terms of why are we doing this, who are our customers, we're primarily a B2B to C business. So if you look at libraries, for example, they have a mission to increase reading for pleasure. So there's a really good synergy there between what we do and what they're looking to do. So in the same way that Audible would have a subscription service, they are paid by Suffolk Libraries and they enable free content at the point of use, and that's the same for us. So we've developed an API to check library membership, and that enables unlimited access to all of our content. We also work with a range of other clients around the real crisis in early years verbal communication, such as the National Literacy Trust and Central Co-op and a range of schools. But we also work in the health sector, so you can see there's a number of children's type charities there. So there's some really interesting research around children who listen to a story in hospital. They produce less cortisol, our stress hormone, more oxytocin, our happy hormone, and they even feel less pain and need less pain medication. So stories have an enormous power within a healthcare setting. We also work with organisations such as the M&D Association in the UK, New Zealand, and we're talking to others around the world. So people who are going to lose their voices can create a beautiful personalised legacy for people they leave behind, or so that when they can't read a story to their children anymore, they can still hear their voice and sit down together and listen to a story. So where are we going next? We are absolutely delighted to say we're obviously a little bit smaller in scale than Sophie's business, but we're delighted that we have got a Creative Catalyst grant, and that will enable us to develop the next stage of our tech, which will be to enable people to upload their own content. So be that creative stories, poems, photographs, with a commentary and memoirs. It's really a very diverse opportunity for people to create their own stuff. In addition to that, we are looking to continue to develop our work around creative writing and oracy, working with partners and schools, and looking at how we increase our access for people to stories that are not in English in additional languages. And in health, we are looking at a range of different areas. We've already developed a concept around mindfulness and building resilience and done some really great pilot work around that in an intergenerational setting with older people in a care home and with children, with primary school children. We also think that there's a really big opportunity around dementia for us to bring some value to people, as this is going to be an issue that we're all going to face in some way in the future. So that's really sort of bringing us to the end of our presentation. We are really keen to move, to expand, to engage with wider audiences, and we're looking for investment to enable us to do that. So that really brings us to the end of our story today with you. I guess my final comment in my last 30 seconds would be, if you know people, if you have contacts, you know, within charities, within libraries, within organisations that might have an interest in what we do, you know, we would absolutely love that. Today is just really great for us to be able to share our story with everybody else in the room, and already had some interesting conversations. So finally, in my last 8 seconds, a big thank you again to Jess and Heather from NatWest. I know that Scott from Bruntwood SciTech is here somewhere. Thank you so much. The Manchester ecosystem is absolutely amazing. I'm really glad to be a part of it. And thank you to all those people who share their experience and knowledge with us. Thank you.